2025 is here. Hi, my name is GC Performance, and these are my 2025 bicycle industry predictions of what I think is going to happen to big name bike companies out there, where I think the bicycle industry is going, new tech coming out like wheels, group sets, bicycles and frames, everything underneath the sun, and talk about all my predictions of what is going to happen for this year to come. 2024 was a pretty crazy year with some really cool tech being released, but also a lot of bad news, like some forever names in the industry taking big hits, going under and closing. Will we see more of that in 2025? Let's take a look. Pause. So in the year 2024, the bicycle companies have definitely seemed to find their new niche. It is the higher end stuff. We have seen it more and more and more that the high-end road bikes, the high-end mountain bikes, the high-end group sets, and the high-end wheels are definitely dominating the bike space. For this reason, because of the fact that the economy is tight and the people with money want the new stuff. That stuff is a high-selling product, which makes a better margin yield. If you were to believe it, this bicycle is $700. $700 for this full bicycle, including spokes, nipples, tires, tubes, frame building, construction, welding, cassettes, chains, derailleurs, grips, seats, everything. Then you have to pay someone to assemble that. Then they have to package that. Then they have to put into a box, which that box is big. You have to ship that box, which that box is big to ship. Then you have to go ahead and sit into a warehouse. That storage fee for that warehouse and that big box costs money. How much money do you think you can make off that $700 bike? I don't know. I don't think it's a lot because they have to make money and then I have to make money. So if you could sell this bicycle for $700, or you could sell an $800 power meter that's this big and make your margin, or a $300 aero helmet, I think you're making probably more money profit off those aero helmets or those S-Works shoes or whatever you're talking out there. So I definitely think that the higher end stuff is here to stay, and we're going to see more and more companies focus less on the lower end stuff, the hybrids. If you guys can believe it, our store has been around for about 44 years. My dad's been running that store. The hybrid bicycles used to be bread and butter for our stores. We used to have $10,000 days of retail of hybrid bikes, cruisers, and stuff like this. There used to be full lineups of this bicycle. This is a specialized Roll 2.0. When this bicycle first released, they had Roll 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. This was called their their comfort hybrid. Then they had a specialized Crossroads 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Then they had the Cirrus 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. Then the Cirrus X. You guys get what I'm saying. They had this whole section of hybrids and fitness bikes, and the demand was there. People were walking to our doors to buy these bicycles. Guys, the demand has kind of fallen off from this sector. People have paid these bikes a lot less attention because of the fact that there are more options. People are more aware. There's online retail. These bicycles that once were used for commuting are now being challenged by, I've said before in other videos, e-bikes, e-scooters. You can get an e-scooter for $200 to take to and from work. You can get an e-bike off Amazon for $200. So these people who used to buy these bicycles that wanted premium bikes are now resulting to cheaper options. So people are still coming in to buy these bicycles, yes, but it's definitely seemed like the companies have kind of left these bikes in the past. They're just making it to continue that lineup to go ahead and please their dealers that are still stocking these bikes. But they have definitely put a lot more eggs in their basket for their high-end stuff, like their S-Works frames, their CLX wheels, their Princeton wheels, whatever the case might be. And this goes along for Giant, Trek, Cannondale, all of them. All of them have definitely taken the back seat to the lower-end stuff. I definitely think that these companies also need to go ahead and re-look at what they used to sell their entry-level road bikes for. This right here is Giant TCR Advanced 2 PC. This is their entry level to their TCR, their performance line of their carbon fiber road bikes. This thing is $3,300 with a mechanical 105, 12-speed, aluminum wheels, and carbon fiber frame. People don't want to spend that right now. Also, the used bike market is completely saturated. You have so many options there and so many offers for bicycles with a year or two later with Di2 and carbon fiber wheels that you can get on there for around that price point. So I think that in the future of 2025, there's going to be a big price correction for this entry-level stuff. They need to get more competitive with it. I know it's easier said than done. Obviously, I can just sit here and say, you need to do this. But I think they're going to go ahead and try and get these numbers into the high twos. I would love to see mid twos, but it needs to be more competitive. We barely have even conversations of people looking at these entry-level bicycles. Before they even get those customers walking our door now, they have about 5 friends telling them, hey, buy this guy's bike because he's looking to upgrade. He'll give you a good deal on it. Or go to Pro's Closet or Bicycle or Cycle Limited or whatever. There's so many options or outlets to buy a used bicycle that competes with these entry-level bicycles. So I think that we're going to see a very dedicated and like precise and surgical way to go ahead and change out these price points. Because I hope that these bikes don't get left in the past, because these were definitely conversation starters, and these bicycles definitely got the new person into the sport. I know the economy's tight, I know the money's tight, but 3,000 scares people away. If the bike's in the 2s, it's that conversation starter. E-bikes. E-bikes, I think, are the future of the bicycle industry because of the fact that the generation that once loved cycling and really pushed for that newer generation of bikes, they're starting to get older. So those people like my dad and maybe like your dad, or maybe you're watching this video and you're around that age, they were the ones who were the die-hard starting the cycling industry, starting the businesses. And obviously it's getting a little bit more tougher, or maybe they just want to ride further, or maybe they want to ride more lap times. But we're seeing people that used to ride their regular bikes want to ride their bikes with more efficiency and have more fun on the bikes and not be drained by the end of the day. E-bike sales have definitely skyrocketed. I believe we got a statistic last year that the Specialized Turbo Levo was Specialized best-selling mountain bike for like a quarter out of all their mountain bikes. So that's a huge statistic, definitely to show off that their Turbo Levo was outselling all the other mountain bikes ranges out there. They're becoming a categories for races. They are outperforming people out there with, instead of being able to have an hour or maybe an hour and a half because life is getting busy, and they used to only be able to do 1 lap. Now they can do about 2 or 3 laps in that time period and not feel completely swamped, and are still able to get done their daily task or work. And you're able to enjoy the bicycle a lot more. Once you get on an e-bike, I know everyone says this, like, I'm never getting an e-bike. As soon as we get that person on a test ride, or they ride an e-bike, or they just have the ability to try one out, that's the only thing they touch. I mean, it's unheard of. And even for the fitness bikes, they sell as soon as someone gets their hands on it, because of the fact that if they're looking at that price point, the bikes just perform. It's a blast. It's like night and day compared to an old bike. So I definitely think that companies are focusing way more on e-bikes because, again, higher profit margin. This hybrid that you're looking at right here, this Trek, that used to be without a battery motor, would probably be $1,000. They're able to bump this thing up to $4,500, slap a battery on there, slap an engine on there, and make way more money off it. And also, I think that just e-bikes are the way of the future for commuting and everything. I think e-bikes are really dominating the market. So let's take it back to my good old friends at Specialized. Direct to consumer. That was a pretty big move when Specialized announced this. It definitely stirred up the industry. A lot of people had eyes on to see how they executed this plan. It definitely shook us up at their stores as well. It was scared us, and all of a sudden we just thought that that's it for us. We're done. They're going to go straight to direct to consumer. But I don't think that everyone thought it was going to plan out the way it did. And I think that more companies will eventually go this route. But I don't think people realize how many stores or how many guaranteed money independent bicycle shops give to Specialized in terms of like dedicated orders, if that makes sense. Yes, they're still doing a great job because obviously they're controlling their inventory, and they're obviously still getting a ton of people who order online. We see it day in, day out of people buying whatever kind of products, from clothing to stems to wheels, direct to their door. There's always going to be a person who just buys online no matter what. But when the demand was there, when the news went out, when inventory was low, obviously Specialized had this great idea, let's launch direct to consumer, and people were buying straight off their website because their website had that inventory first. Now that the demand has slowed down, bikes are sitting online and in stock more often. They're letting us have more inventory, and I don't know how it's panning out for them. Obviously they're going to keep it around, but I don't think they're just going to cut it off and just go direct consumer now. Can I see in 5 to 10 years companies like Specialized, Trek, Giant start to siphon off a lot of the mom and pop shops, only stay connected with the big stores, make dedicated stores like Apple stores and service centers and concept stores where basically like, hey, Go to the Specialized store, get here this bike, pick it up. If you have any issues, bring it to an Apple Genius or whatever and take care of it. Of course. But it's definitely a very weird thing because even to this day, if you go on specialized.com, there are still some things that you can order off there that I can't order. Like I had a customer walk into me today that wanted to buy a Tarmac SL7 stem. On my website, for my dealer website, it was not in stock. But if you go to Specialized B2B, or you go to specialized.com, it's still in stock and that consumer can get it shipped right to their house. So also with the Revolve CLX Rapide team wheels they did with the silver hubs that were $3,800 that the pros were using, we couldn't order those wheels, but the consumers could order those wheels direct to their house. So again, I think they're doing these little launches to see how well they resonate and how much demand there is for it. But I think we're going to see more and more companies obviously look to that direct-to-consumer because as more and more consumers want cheaper and cheaper prices, the only thing they can do is obviously cut out people, middleman, inventory, whatever it is. So, but yeah, you go to any of these bike schools websites now, you're starting to see pretty much a lot of them in stock. And as long as the stuff's in stock, I don't think you're going to see them go strictly to direct consumer because of the fact that they are such a big company. They have massive amounts of warehouse, massive amounts of employees, research and development, a bunch of teams. And when they have independent dealers like ourselves, they get guaranteed money and guaranteed orders each year that we have to place that they can then take to the banks to go ahead and get loans so they can go ahead and produce their products to continue to be these big companies. So as for them going complete direct consumer, I don't see it happening for a while, but we'll see what happens. So China has become extremely mainstream now in the past year or so. We even see big, massive YouTube outlets out there talking about from GCN to Bike Radar. And with more and more of them, they even have their own entry into the professional Grand Tours. X-Lab is now going to be the sponsor of the team Astana. So now you can get a full, complete, kitted out Grand Tour Chinese bike for $7,000 with like Dura-Ace, Vision cockpit, Vision wheels, everything. So you're going to be able to ride what the pros ride for $7,000. So this is extremely competitive because now the fact that you have on one end of the spectrum a Pinarello Dogma that's $16,000 that's in the Grand Tour, or you have this one guy that goes out and wins the stage on an X-Lab for $7,000, you're going to start to see more and more people go for this price war, and I think the demand is going to be it's going to be very difficult to keep up with. You have also companies like WINSPACE that have been in the market for a very long time that you're seeing take away from massive amounts of wheel sales, frame sales, and be strongly competitive to go ahead and eat up a lot of the Western mainstream wheel sales. WINSPACE makes highly competitive wheels at like $1,500 that compete against wheel companies like $2,600 or even $3,000 wheels that are being more and more accepted by society. Whereas it used to be taboo back in the day to buy anything that was like China wheels because like, oh, they're going to break. Now you're getting companies that are being raced by crit race teams. I think WINSPACE even sponsors a women's pro team that raced on the Tour de France last year. So it's becoming more and more acceptable to see crazy high-end stuff that's crazy lightweight and everything the consumers are looking for half the price, from frames to wheels and everything. And they're taking up a lot of the margin share with companies like WINSPACE, Sika, Elves, Quick Pro. All these companies are coming out here and being crazy competitive against the Western brands out there. It's insane. I've never seen a takeover like this in a long time, and more people are being accepting to it, which is wild to think of. So like I said, it's just a matter of time until more and more people get on group rides with them and they start seeing a wheel set that's $1,700 or $1,500 compared to a Zip 353 that's $4,000. Like, hey, what's the difference? Like, oh, well, my wheels are actually wider than yours and lighter and have carbon spokes and ceramic bearings. And they're like, then why did I pay so much money for this stuff? So it's I don't know. I don't know what to say except for it's crazy. But I think that China is playing a massive role in the mainstream of cycling parts, and you're going to start seeing more and more of this product being used on the Grand Tour level, especially with them sponsoring Astana. And also with that, you also have brands out there like Cube, Van Rissel, X-Lab, and Canyon that have been just dominating price points. Like Canyon Air Roads are $10,000 that are competing against $14,000 bikes. I believe Cube, that's a beautiful one. Yeah, I mean like this bike right here, $6,500 with Zip 404s, SRAM Force. This bicycle by any other mainstream company will be $8,000, $9,000. You have Dare, you have Cube. Cube, I think, is making like a full SRAM ride bike for like $8,000. So, yeah, you're having a lot of these direct consumer companies that are basically cutting out retailers that are putting out bikes for pretty cheap, that I think are putting their foot on the neck of these Western companies to go ahead and start being a little bit more competitive. And we're going to start seeing a little bit more price drops on these products to stay within realm of competition. So that kind of wraps up my predictions for what's going on. Any of these bicycle companies, any more to go under for 2025? I don't like to talk like that because I hate to see the companies go under. I have my own ideas that I don't want to manifest or say because, again, like I said, it's always crappy to hear this. But I have heard rumors within the bicycle industry and other bike shop owners of us talking around, hearing from that they maybe are dealers for bicycles and stuff like that they're literally hearing that massive mainstream companies that you all know and love that have Grand Tour bikes in the Grand Tour are taking out huge, massive, multi-10-figure deals to go ahead and just to continue their daily operations because of the fact that they have such a backlog of inventory. So they're literally taking out these massive loans to go ahead and pay for their employee salaries, to go ahead and pay for their daily operations like rent on buildings, and just to pay for everything that's day-to-day operations, just to stay in business right now because of the fact that at times are really tight and inventory is very, very high. So, but yeah, I don't get it. Times are tough for a lot of companies out there. Not to nitpick or anything, Fuji makes good bikes, but I don't see how I don't know of any Fuji stores around me. I don't see a lot of Fuji being sold, but I don't know how some of these there's so many options for bicycles right now. There's so much out there, so many pieces of the pie that I don't see how these companies can just stay around for so long. Because the demand is not there as much as it once was. And with the options out there like secondhand market, certified pre-owned, special companies like Canyon coming at such a high offer, I don't see how companies can stay competitive and stay in business for this long to move product at a profitable rate unless they're just dumping inventory. So who knows what will happen in 2025, but we'll just have to go ahead and hang out for the ride. All right, so now for all the fun stuff we're talking about. We're done with the doom and gloom. We're done with the bicycle industry stuff. Let's get into products, okay? It's been a very long time since Shimano has done anything with XTR. The last thing that they released was their 12-speed mechanical that for some reason it was still on bicycles. They are very far behind in SRAM in terms of their mountain bike group sets. There needs to be a change. What are my predictions for this group set? I believe that Shimano will come out with a 13-speed electronic wireless group set for their XTR that they will go ahead and release. And then in the future, because there's already been talks of a 13-speed wireless Shimano Dura-Ace patent going around, they will release on their XTR to get back into the market because they need something like that to jumpstart their market because there is no demand for mechanical XTR. And then later on down the road, I don't think in 2025, but maybe in years to come, we'll see a Dura-Ace 13-speed wireless group set. The Shimano Dura-Ace, or the Shimano group sets in total with the semi-wireless system with their Di2, their battery and the wires, it's great. It's a great battery, it's a great system, but people want wireless nowadays. We don't want any more batteries, and as much as they made it simpler where you don't have to run the wires to the handlebars anymore, we want it to be another one. It doesn't matter. Even the consumers are saying, I don't like wires on their bikes for their rear Di2 cable. They don't care about the shifting speeds and all that. Their front derailleur is phenomenal, but man, people want the wireless stuff. So I'm definitely thinking that the XTR will get a facelift in 2025 because of the fact that it's been so long and has been so absent in the marketplace. And then in the years to come, we'll see the race with a 13-speed group set on there that will be wireless as well and get rid of that internal battery and wires. As for other companies like SRAM, SRAM has recently relaunched their brand new SRAM Red Axis group set, which has been phenomenal. Their launch of it has been outstanding. I have the group set myself. Absolutely love it. They rechanged the ergonomics of the shifters. You cannot make a better update to a group set, and they crushed it. The shifters are great. The braking power is game-changing from what it was. The bonus buns are nice. The group set feels really good. Kudos to them. They did a really good job. They came out with a lighter group set than the Durace as well. So, really good job. What my predictions will be in the future is that they will trickle down this technology to their Force and Rival. We have seen this song and dance by them many times with their XX1 transmission. They released their XX1 transmission group sets, which is their flagship group set. They say, hey, you can only get this technology if you buy this high-end stuff. And then as the years go on, they release the XO1. And then as the years go on, they go, hey, this is the GX1. This is the GX transmission group set. This is half the price of the XX1. They go, what's different about it? Nothing really. It's just a little bit lighter, but it's a really good value, which it is. But people still buy the XX1, obviously, because they want that name brand stuff and the lace of the light. But I will have a feeling that you'll get those same shifters, those same braking and stopping power, obviously with just heavier hardware on there. Because why keep that beautiful technology to just their top tier stuff? And with doing that, I think that you'll see a ton of people hop over to SRAM for entry level and mid tier for sure. I think the Shimano 105 Di2 right now is the better group set out of Rival. I have Shimano 105 Di2. It is a workhorse of a group set. Absolutely love it. But I think that if you get this technology and that shifter quality and the ergonomics and everything like that at a Rival price point, you're going to make it tough. That new SRAM Red, I promise you, if you're on the old SRAM Red and you're even debating it, buy the new SRAM Red. It is, the braking power is phenomenal. Best brakes I've ever ridden. All right? Wheels, wheels, wheels. The Western market mainstream bicycles need a massive facelift to their wheel sets. In terms of weight, in terms of internal rim width and external rim width, they need help everywhere they can get it. Envy and Zip have their internal rim width down to a science. I absolutely love it. Hate the hookless aspect of it, but who cares? But for sure, this group out here needs some help. What I would like to make my prediction is the Revolve Rapides will get an update. The Revolve Rapides have been in the market for 2020. The year 2020, when it came out with the Tarmac SL7, they got a facelift with the CLX2s, which they put in ceramic bearings, and they made them tubeless. And then they came out with the Team wheels, which basically they said they changed their carbon fiber layup, and they put on the lighter hub, and they changed the spokes, and they made them a competitive weight of like 1360. But now we're seeing so many wheel companies come out of Eastern brands being in like sub 1300 grams with like 23 millimeter internal rim widths, 24 millimeter internal rim widths, carbon fiber spokes, all of this great hoo-ha stuff. I think that we're going to see a new wheel out of Revolve. I think that we're going to see a new wheel out of Envy. Envy wheels, I mean, Pogacar's been dominating on Envy wheels, but the Envy 4.5 wheel set, if you guys notice, in the Tour de France before this last one, whenever Pogacar would go into the mountain stage, he would change out his wheels to like the 3.4s. In this last one, he was running the 4.5s the entire Tour de France, even the mountain stages. He ain't doing that with 1500 gram wheels. These Envy wheels, I think, are hitting the nail on the head with the internal rim width and external rim width. Their hubs are great, sure, they work good. I think they're going to have a huge overhaul to get these weights down. They need to. I would love to see them get rid of hookless, sure, whatever. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they need to have this weight to be in the 1300 grams for sure. And that's the reason why I think that he kept those on. I mean, who else would you trust to ride their wheels? I don't think there's going to be change to their shape or anything like that. But there's been some like Instagram reels going around where you see them having like a silver hub or like a gray hub on there. So I think the NV45s have been a bomb-proof wheel for them. I think they're going to get a facelift to be in that weight. They need to be. No one wants to buy a $2,600 wheel that's 1,500 grams. It's very, very hard, especially weight weenies out there, to sell that to. NV for sure has the best aesthetics of a wheel out there with their logos, but they need to change it up. Oh, my leg broke. And then for Zip wheels, I don't know what happened to Zip. I don't know what happened to Zip at all. For a company that literally dominated and had such a chokehold on the market, their Zip 404 Firecrest were my favorite wheel and was the only wheel that we sold to a lot of people. We had people coming in asking for their wheel sets. Their carbon clinchers were ahead of their times. The new Zips, I don't even have conversations about that much. Their hubs are not my favorite at all. I don't like the way they sound. I don't like the way they operate. Again, I can sit here and critique this all day. I'm not an engineer. It's easier said than done. I apologize to anyone who worked on them. I would like to see them just change them out to a ratchet system that's more reliable, because the amount of hubs that I've worked on for other people who brought me their wheels and had to replace their bearings, had to replace their Freya bearings, it's way too often compared to other brands out there. So I think for Zip to stay competitive, I think they need to lower the prices of their wheels. Oh, big shock. And then if they change out their hubs, or just gave people the option or ability to choose their own hubs, I think that they would be phenomenal. The wheels are beautiful. I love the look and design of their wheels. But they need to do something about the hub. And to wrap this up, I think more companies are going to go to wider tires. We're starting to see wider is faster. Pirelli coming out with their 35s and 40C tires and their flagship race tire. I think more and more companies are going to make their flagship bikes capable of riding a wider tire. What now is the new norm of a 32C tire being capable on a bike. I think they're going to see the minimum being like a 35. Or I'm sorry, the maximum being like a 35 in there. And giving people the ability to run a 35C tire on bicycles. With that wider tire, not only is it going to be more comfortable, but it's always going to make that diameter bigger, so top end speeds will be faster. I definitely think that you'll see the market change that. And for bikes, I don't know when this is going to come out. The Cannondale System 6 needs a facelift. It's been out for far too long. I don't know if it's going to come out, but they need to do some updates to that cable routing in the front. That Cannondale System 6 was an aero monster. It was a fast bike, rigid as hell, but that bike needs to come out soon. Maybe Cannondale is just going the route of Specialized, not updating it, but who knows? Maybe we'll see one. The Specialized Athos, kind of a weird bike right now. With the launch of the Tarmac SL8, the Specialized Athos has really kind of fallen off our list. It's performs, does everything it needs to, but the Tarmac SL8 took a lot of the quality of the Athos, like the skinnier seat stays, like the circular bottom bracket, making it very comfortable and way more vertical compliant than the SL7. So people take the SL8 over this bicycle. This still gives you the ease to transport with it because it has exterior cables, but this bicycle has been untouched and unchanged for, again, almost 4 years now. So I think that maybe Specialized will look into changing this bike and giving an update, or figure out a new way with it, because our demand for it has definitely fallen off. It's a great bike, but the demand doesn't seem to be there with the Tarmac SL8 being on the market, because they even advertise that this has the same geometry as the Tarmac SL8. So it's kind of a weird bike to check off when the SL8 just dominates so well, and it doesn't even have integrated cables on there. So maybe they make this thing integrated and just a super light climbing bike, and be utilized more in the Grand Tour. Who knows? And last but not least, I'm excited for this one. I don't think this is coming out this year, but the Cervelo S5 was refreshed around 2022. Deeper head tube, deeper bottom bracket, made more aero. This bicycle was like the first bike that really did change and look crazier and give the Bianchi the handlebar design, and the new Colnago Y1 RS. I want to see what Cervelo does to this bike because of the amount of winning that it's been doing, because of the aerodynamics of this bike, because of that first off generation Y handlebar. I want to see how Cervelo makes this bike better in the future, because I don't know where they take it from here. So many companies utilize this rear area. So many companies utilize this front wide triangle. They were really the pioneers for this. So I think in 2026 to 2027, they have a brand new Cervelo S5. I don't know what it'll look like, but I'm very excited for it. Anyways, guys, that is my 30-minute 2025 roundup. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I lost my voice at the end of it. I started filming at 10 o'clock. It's now 12 o'clock. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.